All right, we're less than 2 hours away from the start of Tesla's annual shareholder meeting. It takes place this year in its brand new manufacturing facility in Austin, Texas. In anticipation, Tesla stock is up just about 2%, $797.87 a share. Now, Tesla investors, they want to know about car production, chip shortages, and new competition. Here with what to expect, Barron's senior special writer Al Root and longtime Tesla bull Gerber Kawasaki CEO Ross Gerber. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Al, let me start with you. Is this event all about batteries?
You know what? I don't think so. I mean, everything is always about everything with Tesla. So that being said, I think it's more about production. I think it's more about the Austin plant coming online, an update about what's going on in Germany, how fast these plants can ramp up, because we could be looking at 1.2, 1.3 million units for Tesla in 2022. So, and maybe we'll get a little bit more about Cybertruck production when that's coming out. So for me, I'm a little more interested in production than last year, which was actually, the annual meeting in the Battery Technology Day.
So just, Al, do I have this right? If we ramp up next year to 1.2, 1.3 million, that essentially doubles last year's production. Do I have that right with my Tesla numbers?
Well, so they're basically going from 2 plants to 4 now. It would take about a year to achieve full production. So this idea of how fast they ramp and how all the numbers work out, I think, is a big deal for 22. But, let's say at the end of 22, you're essentially exactly right. 2 plants to 4 plants, exiting the year at probably 2 million units of annual capacity.
Well, they got to keep up, right, Ross? They have competition now from the traditional automakers who now say they're, platform companies like General Motors and everybody else really pushing electrification.
Well, there's no competition. I mean, GM just took all their cars back and has to fix all their EV cars. There is no competition for Tesla. Nobody's been able to scale electric vehicle production. We're seeing the Lucid finally rolling out at $165,000 a car and maybe 20,000 units. We're seeing enormous demand for electric vehicles with soaring gas prices and consumers really taking it on the chin at the pump. So this is the best of times for Tesla. So I think the challenge for them is exactly what was being discussed, is really how fast can they ramp production in Texas? And I think that's what I want to find out today. Where are they at? Are we going to start production by the end of the year? Where Cybertruck? That's a big part of the equation because they have tremendous orders for it, and semi-truck. So that's what I'm really looking forward to is hearing a little bit more about that. And then Elon this morning was tweeting about full self-drive beta testers, getting a lot more testers out there on the road. So this is an exciting time for Tesla.
We're looking at the Cybertruck. I'm sorry, guys. And I don't doubt Elon Musk knowing what the consumer wants, but this is a weird-looking truck. Is there really that big of a demand to drive something like this, Al? And this would be coming from Austin only, is that correct?
I believe it's only Austin right now, yes. Now listen, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
So you agree with me.
Racked up about 1 million, when they stopped reporting the pre-orders, it was about 600,000. And all the pre-orders, maybe there's double ordering, maybe they're not all real orders. But Ford is proud of 150,000 F-150 orders, and I know what Ross is saying about GM and Ford. I think the 150 is pretty good. I'm not besmirching Ford.
No, I agree.
Tesla has 600,000, and then they stop counting. So a lot of people that's years of production if he can deliver, if he can convert those orders into sales. So people like it. People like that truck.
You know what also stood out to me, Ross, when you look at the margin for Tesla, I think it's 24%. So they're pretty solid because they keep increasing the price of their cars. At the beginning of the year, it was like $500, $1,000. Well, this latest increase is $2,000, and it makes their cheapest car $42,000. $42,000. And then you have these, you said there's no competition for Tesla. Well, that price tag is good for investors, but you got all these Chinese startups coming out with cheaper cars, and some of the batteries go a long way too. You're not worried about that, Ross?
Well, the Chinese competitors are really the only real competitor, and one that is SPACing now, which is Polestar, which is Volvo, which is really owned by China. This is a pretty good vehicle, and they've been able to build a decent amount of them. Nothing in the scale of a Tesla, but certainly it's a decent car. But what we're talking about is Tesla doesn't really compete against other EVs because consumers want electric vehicles and they'll buy any electric vehicle that's good, that's for sale. The real destruction is in the ICE vehicle sales, and we're seeing just horrendous numbers from the ICE vehicle sales, Ford and GM, because people just don't want those cars anymore and they want EVs. So any car company that makes an EV will be successful. And we're seeing this with the Porsche Taycan Turbo everywhere around LA. It's a beautiful car, very expensive and not great specs, but people want EVs and Porsche drivers are buying them, just like Ford drivers will buy Ford EVs. So, you know, I think the big challenge for all the companies is, can they get these vehicles made in scale? And we still have yet to see anybody do this.
And my remaining question, I have 10 seconds here, Alan, is full self-driving. Is that a risk to Tesla when you look at the regulatory environment around that and some of the mishaps they've had with the beta version of that?
Impossible to answer in 10 seconds. Of course it's a risk. It is overstated risk.
Well, you know, 1,000 drivers get it tomorrow. Ross, Al, thank you very much. Good job. And that was 5 seconds, I think, Al, just so we know.